on Sports. Boofeezy is back in the building. Here with my man QG. Matt, Quiet Giant, you're frozen right now. Hopefully you come back to life in a second. Are you with us?
Yeah, I hear you. You're frozen on my end, though, visually.
Right before we came on air, I said, it's good, but I don't think it should be too bad. But we'll see if it's still frozen on the video end, but at least you can hear me. This is Sports Buffet number 9. We're coming to you on late Monday night, and we'll post this up Monday. So we've got some preseason basketball going on, which we'll talk about. But for the first time ever in Sports Buffet history, and I don't know if people will be able to see this, but I'm rocking the same Yankees hat that I had worn for Sports Buffet number 8 on the start of MLB Playoffs. So the reason I'm rocking that is because I'm superstitious, and the Yankees have been straight beasting 2-0 up against Minnesota. I said last week I was a little worried about Minnesota, but it's just funny how like a week goes by and everything completely changes. Like the Yankees, like dead ass, just look like the Minnesota Twins' older brother. They're just straight dominating them, and it's been fun if you're a Yankees fan. It's been not fun if you're a Minnesota Twins fan. So I'm rocking the same Yankees hat as last week, but I'm a little nervous because I went on a trip this weekend just back to New York, and I wore this Yankee hat, which doesn't have all the shit on it. So I've got it on the same table as me, so I'm a little nervous that might counteract this hat, and the Yankees might lose tonight.
I mean, I hope that's the case, but I couldn't have been more wrong. Like I said that, like this will be a good series and shit, and then Game 1 Friday night was like, this is the worst 100-win team in all of baseball and in history of baseball. They're bad.
They're terrible. And it's just funny how like all the storylines change so much. Like I said, before the game, it's like the Twins have hit more home runs than the Yankees all season. And, they've got all these power guys, and the pitching's actually really good, and something feels different this year. And then they go down 2-0, and last game the guy's a pitcher, and like he used to drive Uber, and now it's like they have Uber drivers pitching, and like all the storylines change so much. And it's like they really look like a minor league baseball team right now. And it just like, it's got to suck if you're a Twins fan every year running into the Yankees in the playoffs, because it's like, no matter how much the payrolls are, it's still baseball when it comes down to it. And like one team can have a good game, one team can have a bad game. But for 5 straight playoff series to never win one, it's got to just be so deflating.
When I was watching Game 1, like 3 or 4 innings in, Barrios was like, he was doing all right, but it's like, all right, who are the options in the pen? And like they were showing the guys on the roster. I'm like, oh, they got no pitching at all. Like, and I'm glad you brought up the Uber guy, because I meant to put that in as like a little side story. Like, that's hilarious. If anyone gets bent out of shape, like with that, you got to chill out. Like, that's funny.
Exactly. And like so many other cities do so much worse shit. Like Philly's like, if you get a concussion and you're like dead on the ground, they're cheering, they're going crazy. Toronto, Kevin Durant like ruptures his ACL or whatever, like his whole like lower leg, they're cheering, they're clapping. For Yankee fans to be cheering like Uber, like cut them a little break. That's not that bad. Like there's a lot worse things that go on in sports. Like maybe like a fan, like, I don't know, there's some violence outside the stadium or inside the stadium. It's all like, that's fun banter to me. That's like you did your research, you found out the guy drove Uber, and you're chanting it. And I said this in the past, but I went to a Marlins game back when they played at, I think it was called like Pro Player Stadium or whatever. And my boy, we were sitting in center field. There was like 5 people in the game, like Dexter Fowler's in center field. And, it's all fun banter. We're yelling stuff like, Dexter, you suck. They were getting no hit at the time. And it was like, you guys can't get a hit. And then he went on Wikipedia and like found out his mom's name and started chanting Trudy Fowler. And I was like, I'm sort of okay with it just because like, the information's out there, but that was a stretch. That was a stretch.
Yeah, I don't love that.
That's
like
that one I wasn't totally cool with, but like if it's public knowledge that he drove Uber while he was in the minor leagues, that's fair game, you know?
dude, that's what cheering and being a fan is about. Like
Yeah.
if I saw some crazy people on Twitter like going off like, how dare you shame this man for trying to make 11. I'm like, what world do I live in? I would love to trash on Yankee fans too. Like, yeah, you scumbags. But no, that's hilarious. Like you have to do that.
Yeah. No, that was a good one. And it's like, it's making me realize, like, I don't want to sound like a homer too much, but like, I don't know if the Yankees are just this good or like, you know, because now I see other teams and it's like I watch the Braves and they're that type of game where it's like they'll slide into home plate and the whole player will be dirty and he'll like jump up and it's like it's like that just that young team mentality where everybody's having fun. Where the Yankees seem different. It's more like it's more professional. It seems like they're just more like, I don't know, clean cut. Where these other teams have this grittiness to them that I start to think, I'm like, all right, if the Yankees like play the Dodgers, maybe it'll be a tough battle because the Dodgers are good. But someone like the Braves or Cardinals, where they're just like gritty and young and they're doing all this wild shit, will the Yankees like turn them into like a Twins, or the Twins just like that bad?
I mean, that's a good point. I think the Yankees have a perfect matchup here because they're the same team as the Twins, but they're just better.
Yeah.
They're proving that. You know what I'm saying? Like they got the power, all the hitters, the 1 through 8, just they hit the hell out of the ball. Not much of a starting rotation, and the Yankees have the better bullpen than the Twins, and the Twins don't have a bullpen. So it is a nice matchup for them. Looking at the other teams, like if they were to match up, say with the Rays, I think the same results would have happened. So I think it would be like almost 50-50. It's going to be tough. Like if they have to face the Astros, which looks likely, that's as tough as it gets. You get to buy them. That's pretty much the World Series right there.
100%. Yeah. And to your point, it's almost like the Rays and like the Twins, their motto when building a team, I guess on this season alone, is almost like that Yankees motto where it's like power and, have a couple good starting pitchers. So it's like you can't compete with what you're trying to like emulate. So it's like now you're facing them and it's just like they're just shitting on you. So it's been fun as a Yankee fan. I haven't checked the score yet on tonight's game, but I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully they just get a sweep, they get some rest. But the Astros are killing too, man, and it's going to be a good matchup because they've got a solid-ass team. And last time they played, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was like Astros were up 2-0, and then I think the Yankees made it 2-2, went to Game 5, and then they lost a close one.
Yeah, and the Astros have gotten better since then, too, with their pitching. So
yeah, I don't know what the hell
you can't
happened
argue
to
that.
Verlander is like tapped into the fountain of youth, and the dude is just like a stud right now. I mean, he's always been a stud.
But like this year, he's just been so dominant. It's like takes you back to when he was with the Tigers.
It's stupid.
And he doesn't seem like he's slowing down at all. I will say with the Yankees, like what they did with it, like what Aaron Boone did like a month ago was like, all right, we're gonna get ready for the playoffs now with our starters. So no starter is gonna last more than 4 innings. We're just gonna we have 2 starters in one game. And so they like kind of do the back end thing because they know that their guys aren't that good.
Yeah.
Right. But when you have one starter pitch 2 or 3 innings, as soon as he's about to see those batters a second time, he puts in another starter, and he didn't even just wait to the playoffs to do that. He did that a month ago to get them ready for that. You could kind of roll through some teams like that.
So what was he doing? He was having a starter just go through the lineup once and then would put another starter in to roll through the same lineup?
Yeah, so he gets to like as soon as like the 3rd or 4th inning hits, as soon as like the leadoff batter is about to have his like second at bat or something in the game, he's putting in like he would put in CC in replace of like Severino or something like that, and or Tanaka instead of letting CC face those guys a second time. So it's like, oh, you're not going to get comfortable against these guys because he was noticing like, oh, once we get to the 4th, 5th, 6th inning, these guys start getting hit hard.
Yeah.
So that's brilliant on his part.
So is that a confidence thing, or is that sort of just getting his starting pitchers like prepared to maybe, come in for a relief performance?
Yeah, I think definitely a little bit of both, but he's just getting those guys ready. Like, that's so smart. Like, he's literally ready to go to the pen at any point in the game, and those guys are ready now. And their bullpen is nasty.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Aaron Boone's. I think he's like super knowledgeable about how the game is changing and trying new stuff, and like I think he vibes well with the players, and like he's just got a good feel for the game. And I don't know what it is, if it's like he's just got like this aura around him, whether it was like when he hit that home run against the Red Sox, like he's just got a good baseball like majestic-y shit about him, like it's a good vibe that I think David Ross has that. I think the Cubs would be smart if they hired him. I think he's just one of those guys that just has like that good juju with him. Anything he does or anywhere he goes, there's going to be success. Joe Madden has that type of thing, like it obviously fizzles out, but I think like Mattingly, for some reason, as good as a player as he was, he had like pure talent, but I don't think he has that like, he doesn't have that like majestic like shit that like he can go to a team and like straight, just have like good luck come to their team, if that makes any sense.
No, that's fair. He's might have like the best job in baseball, like not expected to win, manages Miami, just chills and makes money.
Yeah, no, and that's my thing is like he's like good looking dude, Donnie Baseball, just was like a great baseball player, but like that expected to win was never like, it never really, I never felt it even with him on the Yankees, because it was almost just like he was so good, and then once he left is when the whole dynasty started with Jeter and all those guys, so it was never like so much pressure on him to win. Even when he was in LA, it was like, yeah, they were doing super well, but they made the World Series, and it's like, it's LA, so like people cared, but they didn't care. Now they care a little bit more because they've been there a couple times and they sort of have tasted it. But that first couple seasons was almost just like, oh shit, like we're in the World Series. That's what's up. Like I could take my girlfriend to a game and sit in a World Series game, But now it's like, all right, we've done this a couple seasons. Let's actually win a World Series title, which now they got the guy Dave Roberts, who is sort of a good luck guy. He had some good luck with the Red Sox. But I think if your boys want to be smart, hire David Wright, man. Like, even if he's inexperienced, he's just a good dude. Like, people like him. He's got good, like, baseball karma around him. I think he'd be an awesome Mets, manager. I don't even know if that's an option.
Yeah, I mean, he already turned that down. He was just like, there's like
did he
no
really turn
interest. It down? It's just like there's no interest on both ways. I mean, maybe eventually, I get that. I actually just got a text about another guy who kind of has that, like, he's just a baseball dude, Carlos Beltran, they're talking about.
Yeah, but is he going to be a good manager? I don't even know why his name's getting thrown around.
I don't know. I mean, people have been high on him for a while now, and he hasn't even had like one coaching job, which is weird to me. But like media does that with a lot of guys. Like they did that like with Jason Giambi for years.
Really?
It's like no, Jason Giambi doesn't even coach, but his name is in the mix for every single good managing position. Made no sense.
Yeah, it's mad random. I don't know. I mean, like Beltran, to me, he doesn't spark me as one of those guys that like has like you have to have a good baseball resume. Like when I used to watch him, it's just like he was never really smiling and laughing, and like he's got the whole bilingual thing, which works great for him because he can communicate with a lot of Hispanics and in the dugout. But like his whole vibe just seemed cold, and it just never seemed like he was like, I don't know, he never seemed like a bubbly guy that can really captivate like a team, like someone like a David Wright or David Ross or something like that. Or I think Posada can be a good manager. I think he had good, a lot of catchers are good managers, because they sort of have to control the field. But I don't know. I digress on that. But I wanted to ask you, just watching MLB playoffs and being a Mets fan and being a baseball player. What do you do as a baseball fan while playoffs are going on? Are you still excited about the games? Do you still get jitty for them?
Yeah, I mean, I might be the exception, but like I love it. Whether we're in it or not, obviously there's no pressure with us not being in it, so it's like I can just kind of kick back and watch. If it ever gets a little stale, like I'll throw a little money on some games, just to make it interesting. But I love all of it. Like I just can't keep up with all of these time differences.
Yeah.
Like I think we had today like 307, 507, 640, and then 840 right now with the Yankees and Twins.
I thought it even started earlier because I looked at the ESPN thing and it was like, I think the Astros played the Rays at like 1 o'clock today or something like that, or like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. I like checked my ESPN app and the game was literally over. I was like, I didn't even know they were playing.
Yeah, I thought I was looking at like the old MLB schedule or something. Like I scrolled once and there were still games on, and I was like, isn't it playoffs? Like, shouldn't there just be like 1 or 2 games on and be at like 7 o'clock at night? Like someone got mad at whoever programs these games because it was like the Yankees were on like SNY, not SNY. They were on like FS1, and the Dodgers were on not national TV, and they were playing at like the same time. And it was like, don't you guys want to make money off of this? Like you've got the biggest market in LA and the biggest market in New York playing at the same time on 2 non-nationally televised stations. Yeah.
I mean, and that's pretty much what's happening now because the Nats and Dodgers are almost finishing up. But it's, I don't know. I like it because it kind of gives like March Madness vibes a little bit. And if you just, I don't know, flip back and forth, baseball is not, there's always going to be like a downtime, a slow period in a game where you're just like, all right, let me flip over to this game now. So
yeah, but it's like too much shit going on, and it's like I never know the stations. Like it took me 20 minutes to find
the channels throw me off.
Because it's like I don't know if it's going to be on MLB Network or SNY. Why do I keep saying SNY or on FS1?
There's not one game on SNY.
There's not going to be one game on SNY. But I don't know. Make it just cleaner. Like have the game on Fox or like ESPN. Like I'll chip in if you just want to throw it on one network. But to have it on 5 different networks is too much. And like if you're trying to capitalize on people watching the games, don't have them at the same time. Like play them different times. I mean, I could see your argument with like the March Madness, but I'm not clicking back and forth between national. Like I'm not that big of a baseball junkie where I'm clicking between 4 different games to see if the Rays came back and beat the Astros when they're down 2-0 in a series. Like have that on its own day, so I'm forced to watch that game instead of like just ignoring it because I know the Astros are going to sweep them.
See, I'm a sicko like that, so I'll do it. But yeah, I think the thing that they messed up is that there's too much of a wait period between the last regular season game and the first playoff game with a lot of these teams. Like the Yankees were done on a Sunday and didn't play till Friday.
Yeah, they had a big.
So that I think, that throws everything off. Now it's like they're just jamming all these games in, and you can't really give these teams too many days off because they already play into November in the World Series.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and one question that came up for me was this weekend from my father-in-law was like if I was a fan of the best of 5 series. It's like, should every series in playoffs be best of 7? Is that enough games best of 5 to decide?
See, I like the best of 5 to start, but I got a lot like I had that same conversation with a few people who like want best of 7 straight from the first round on, and I'm like, I don't know, like I like the best of 5 in the first round. Like we get it. Like do we really need to see Twins and Yankees, for example, in a best of 7?
Yeah, I think for an ALDS, best of 5 is totally fine. You could tell in 3 games if you're good or not. And even when the Yankees had a comparable team to the Astros a couple years ago when they were down 2-0 and they were going back to Yankee Stadium, like they won the first one at Yankee Stadium down 2-1, and it's like you get another home game. So it's like you have enough opportunities to prove if you're good or not. Like if the Astros get bombed tonight they're not worthy of even getting that fourth game. So best of 5 is plenty for the ALDS. ALCS World Series, obviously best of 7 is fine. You don't need more than 3 games to see that the Yankees are way better than the Twins, that the Astros are way better than the Devil Rays and the Rays, whatever. And a series like the Braves and Cardinals, it makes it exciting that it's 2-2 and then it's down to 1 game. So I'm okay with the best of 5. Switching gears a little bit, you just showed me this video beforehand, but we'll go to football. So the Redskins fired Jay Gruden, John Gruden's brother. He had been there for a couple seasons, and they were always mediocre. I think their best season was probably when they had Kirk Cousins, and they might have been like on the playoff cusp. They might even made it. And if he was the coach of RG3, I think they made the playoffs one year, the wild card round.
I think so, yeah, because he's 6 seasons in. That would make sense, right?
Yeah, he definitely was a part of the RG3 era, which came and went very fast. But there was video of him. Well, first off, he got fired. They're 0-4, I think. They just lost to the Patriots this week. And they suck. I mean, they're no good. They took Dwayne Haskins as their quarterback. But I don't think anybody expected them to be good. But it's almost like, what do? Do you let the guy coach for the rest of the season? Or I saw articles that said that now they get a start on their head coaching search. It's like, can't you still do your head coaching search while the guy's coaching?
Yeah, and like, who is, like, what are you starting now?
That's what I'm saying.
What search are you starting? Like, you have to wait till the end of the year. So like, and no one is going to be like, if they're retired, like say Bill Cowher is going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get back into coaching and I'm going to jump on this Redskins job because I don't know what's going to be out there at the end of the year. No one's doing that.
No, it's one of the dumbest things. And if you're writing that article, like, oh, it's a great move, they'll get a head start on who their next coach will be. It just, to your point, it makes absolutely no sense because, one, you're going to lose every single other game the rest of the season. So it's not like it's an appetizing job. At least if Gruden's there and he brings them to win 4 or 5 games, then you see some improvement. But the fact that now they have no head coach and, I don't know, maybe their offensive coordinator will hop on and they'll just continue to lose. It's almost just going to be like, that shit looks more in shambles than if they were to let him play out the season and then they fired him and we could just start fresh, but at least we got a couple wins under our belt. But yeah, who are you starting your head coaching search with and who wants to take that job? It's not like, remember a couple years back, there was that old coach for the Redskins who did the racing, Joe Gibbs or whatever his name was.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like he had won with the Redskins back in like the 80s, and they convinced him to come back.
Yeah.
You're only going to get like either a young college coach to come back or like someone who's got some ties to the Redskins organization. And I can't personally think of anybody, not that I know of many people, but it's like, unless like Joe Theismann wants to coach, maybe he can get the job. But like, who wants that job?
No, they're going to be last of the litter. So it's like, it doesn't matter really, honestly, whether they fire him, kept him. It really doesn't matter because ownership is so bad and management is so bad. It's like what they did to Haskins, like they were giving him no reps and they were like, yo, go in the game. Who does that? And now they're saying like they're still going to like, they're down with that plan. I'm like, dude, like he's clearly not ready. Like it's kind of messed up to do to the kid because now you're throwing him out there and he really is not ready. Like it's so obvious.
And it's not like one of those positions where you're in an office job and you can sort of learn on the fly. Like you don't learn on the fly in the NFL. It's almost like you probably get beaten up to a pulse or you don't have time to learn, or it's just like you're trying to get better on the field and get acclimated with that. And then once you're done with that, then you're going to film sessions and watching how much you're getting beaten up. So it's like, it's got to take a psychological toll on you to just see yourself on the field throwing an interception and then going back to the film room to rewatch that interception, to go back on the field, to still try and get comfortable with being like, there's never a learning curve. You know, when you have an experienced guy in front of you, even if he sucks or not, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick or the guy who used to be the Jets backup, McNown or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Josh McNown.
Yeah, just like a veteran quarterback that at least can like teach you the ropes and show you things and at least play for a little bit, and then you come in the third quarter. But if you're just getting thrown into the fire, football is probably one of the toughest sports, I would say, that you can try to quote unquote learn on the fly. You agree with that?
Yeah, and you could ruin the kid and his future.
100%.
When he got drafted, it was a surprise pick anyway, and they also said right away, they were like, all right, a little surprised by this pick, but 2-3 years from now, there's a chance he'll be ready, but he's got to sit these couple years and just watch and just really grow from that and develop from that. And the Redskins were like looking like they were on that plan, and then they just like threw him under the bus pretty much, and which isn't cool. And then you thought it was the coach's move, and then management is like, no, man, we're going to just throw him out there. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're going to lose anyone. Just sign a veteran and just like suck it up.
Yeah, find even if you don't want to do Kaepernick or whatnot, like I'm sure Byron Leftwich or some shit is still out there who could sling a couple like sign one of the Hasselbeck brothers or some shit to like just like game manage. Doug Flutie could probably still sling it around a little bit. Like there's guys out there that could probably still manage a game and let Haskins back him up. But there's no surprise that like when the Patriots take all these guys in like the 6th round who sit behind Brady for years and like learn the ropes, that they're very good. Aaron Rodgers, he sat behind Favre for years. All these teams who suck, the Jets, the Browns, the Redskins, they take these quarterbacks with the first overall pick and just throw them right into the fire, and they never learn, and they never sign a veteran who can like show them the ropes, and they continue to suck because these guys, they don't learn that way, and that's not how you learn in the NFL. Like maybe in the NBA you can learn that game because there's so many games, but the NFL, there's 16 games. You already lost 4 games. You're done. You know.
Dude, it's way different than any sport, I think. Honestly, like it's got to be so different to like, I don't know, man. I would shit my pants if they told me to go out there and play
100%.
Like as opposed to any other sports, like, yo, go, go get 15 minutes at shooting guard. You know, that's okay, cool. All right, yeah. Like go get a couple at bats here and there. All right, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, go run an offense in an NFL game and don't fuck up.
And it's like you're coming from like Montana State or some shit like that, where you're playing against a college that like one of the DBs or the linebacker is going to go on to be like a lawyer or like, work in his daddy's like firm or some shit like that. Like to go into the NFL where these guys are getting paid multi-million dollars, where all they do is like live, breathe, sleep football. Like when you're playing college, these guys could be worried about, their frat party or like some girls they're dating or like, oh, we're at Clemson this week. We don't have to pay attention to, the game plan that much because we're still very good. We're going to smack whoever we're playing against. And then now going to like the NFL and playing against these guys who are just all about the shit is like, nah, you can't, there's no margin for error. So like, I feel bad for that dude. I don't feel bad for Gruden because he's still chilling. He's probably getting paid out till the end of the season. One thing that was a little grimy that you showed me was that there was a TMZ video of him 2 years ago, and some guy was filming him like coming out of a bar. He was probably twisted, but he was like smoking weed with some young girl, not like young, like just whatever, like a younger girl than him. And then of course the video surfaces when he, a couple weeks prior to him getting fired when the Redskins were doing poor. So, I mean, I don't like that a little bit, that you held on to that video for so long for a situation. But then again, you're talking to the guy who takes pictures with people, and then if they, if there's a milestone or something, I'll post that photo. So, I'm yin and yang on that take. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the video appearing? And if anybody didn't see the video, check it out on TMZ. It's Jay Gruden, like, outside of a bar.
He's partying. I love it. It's awesome. I mean, I'm glad they kind of like were like, yeah, whatever. We don't care about the video. He just can't win us a football game, so that's why we'll get rid of him. So, like, I'm glad they kind of were like, dude, who cares? This is 2019. Weed's pretty much legal, and hanging out and going out at night, especially like summertime. That's when he's off. Like, come on, what are you doing? Like, whoever did that though, either they're a Red Sox or a Redskins fan, where they're like, we gotta get rid of this guy, and this is the only way I know how to get rid of him, or it's just someone that's like, yo, he's having a tough go at it. Let me just make things 10 times worse.
Yeah,
which is so messed up.
That's even more messed up. Like I could sympathize for the Redskins fan who's fed up with him, and it's like, all right, let me leak this video because we need a new coach. I'm still waiting for any Knicks fan out there to find some video on James Dolan doing something grimy. Please release the videos if you have them because we need a new owner. So I sympathize if he's a Redskins fan and that's why he released the video. If he's just pouring fuel on the fire of them like being winless, then that guy's a dick. That guy's a big
so messed up.
He's a dick anyway for having his camera right in his face. The guy's at a bar. He's old enough to be at a bar. I don't know if you can smoke. I don't know what state he was in. Maybe he was in like Oregon or something like that. Where
Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe weed is legal where he was in the video. So it's like the guy's at a bar. He's drinking. He's smoking. Like, let him live. He's a normal person. So like you taking your phone out and like all up in his grill while he's twisted with his like girlfriend or a girl is messed up because I doubt that dude who was filming got any buns that night.
Yeah, not if you're just hanging outside watching Jay Gruden.
Yeah, and then like
from the bushes, like,
and then you got more footage of him sitting in front of the bar against the wall. Like, the dude is really a lame to be recording like that. Like, I'll take my one picture and keep it moving. I'm not like hanging around the guy the whole time. But like, to hang around somebody the whole time while they're outside of a bar is sort of grimy. But it's the Redskins. I don't have any sympathy for their organization. I just had a chat with Molly's dad, and he was, he's mad that, not mad, but I asked him if the Redskins should change their name. I think that organization has, like I said earlier, there's some players that have good karma around them. I think their organization, similar to the Knicks, with Daniel Snyder as their owner, with James Dolan as the Knicks owner, I think there's a black cloud that lays over their organization. And no matter what they do, they could bring in Bill Belichick. They're still going to suck. Well, they wouldn't suck.
No, I agree.
But like they're not going to be good just because there's just the Cowboys have this against them. I don't think the Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl just because there's just like this bad aura around their team.
It starts from the top, and I definitely think that's the case with the Redskins. And it starts at the top. You have bad ownership. It's like, yeah, what are you going to have bad ownership and then you're going to have this magnificent coach and these great players? No, it doesn't work like that ever. It's not how it goes in any sport.
No, and it makes you think like how dumb some of these owners are. Like and I go straight to the Jets. How can you hire a guy from the Dolphins who just went like he couldn't win in the AFC East, same division you play in, plays against the same exact teams, same schemes, same game planning, same everything. And now you're going to think that he can come into the Jets and turn the organization around? It's just like, it's so dumb. It's so naive. It's so like just like mind-boggling that anybody could see this. A dead guy could see this. But the owner can still hire this guy and think that he's going to turn the franchise around. And it's almost like it makes me want to think like he should be fired right now. If you can't come in and win a couple games with Le'Veon Bell, granted, Darnold's out, but like run the ball, have Le'Veon play quarterback, do other shit. We have a good defense. You can't win one game, and you've been studying all of these teams in the division for this long. You can't beat the Bills. Like, come on.
That was the one, honestly. Like, you got to keep them. Obviously, at this point, but that was
You
the
think
one
so?
where
I
it's
would
like,
cut ties
all
with
right,
him, man.
nah, I'd keep him because all of this pretty much wasn't his fault except for week 1. So it's a completely different story if you just beat the fucking Bills week 1 and you go 1-4 instead of 0-5. How pathetic does that sound? If he just went 1-4, we'd kind of be cool with him because of our situation at quarterback. Darnold's kissing too many girls.
Yeah, I get. And even if we win that first game against the Bills, who knows? Like maybe the atmosphere changes. We go, and we could beat Cleveland at home. And it's like it's all different.
Right.
But like I didn't watch last week's game, but he's taking responsibility for the play calling and all this stuff. And it's like you were brought in here to be like this exceptional play caller and like be this quarterback guru. The guy looks like a second grade Pee Wee Pop Warner quarterback out there. It's embarrassing. Like, if you're such a guru, why isn't he ready to like play?
It's noble of him to take the blame for this.
Fuck
just
him.
like watching the game. Just watching the game though, it's like, oh, this dude, he's gonna need another career after this. The quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, watching him, I'm like, oh man, he's not gonna make it. Like, just not gonna make it.
But here's my argument. If you're Gase and you're like supposed to be this like amazing quarterback guy, something's not working because I can do the same shit there. I can put a backup third string quarterback in there and have him get rocked and then take responsibility for him not doing well. Like,
right.
Why can't he throw a draw play or why can't he do something a little bit different than what the hell he was doing? And I didn't watch the game. It was a lot of fumbles and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was no. They didn't move the ball at all. Like, it was just. I mean, it's the guy can't. I don't know what. It's crazy that he's a quarterback. Like, it was just watching him. I'm like, I don't know what he can do for us. Like, I don't know. He's pretty much a college kid. Like, it just like can't do anything. They did have one nice play for their touchdown. It was like a reverse. He didn't throw it.
Saw the reverse,
so it was a reverse. It was like a double reverse.
Yeah.
It was a trick play. And that's how they scored. But it's like, honestly, you just watch it, take your beatings, and just I didn't have any emotion towards it because it's over, man. And it's like, wait till Darnold gets back and then evaluate again.
But here's my last take on it. If the guy is supposed to be a quarterback genius, you can't have 2 weeks with a guy and him just stink up the joint. Like, you gotta, when you're at a job, you get a written warning. You get a verbal warning, you get a written warning, and then you're fired. 2 weeks ago against the Browns, the guy should have got a verbal warning, or Simeon goes out. This guy comes in. That's your verbal warning. The guy played like shit. The following week, well, we got a week off, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. He should be fired. I don't think the guy should be a coach. He got his 3 strikes right off the bat. I just hated the hire from the beginning. I don't see, like, fire the guy and do what the Redskins are doing. Start your freaking job coach search now, all right? Start thinking about who you want because the guy's got to go. Done on that subject, man. It gets my blood going. But Gruden's out. He'll probably get hired by his brother in Oakland. Same thing that happened to Rex Ryan. He hired Rob Ryan gets another job, and it's just like Jay Gruden's going to be fine. Gase will be fine down the road. It's like these guys, it's such a small circle of coaches that like they'll always end up somewhere else. So Gruden's fired, but I'm sure, there's GMs and everybody else out there that'll hire him.
Yeah.
Next topic I wanted to ask you about, staying on football, college football. There's a couple videos actually this week that I saw. The first one I saw was an Oregon college kid. He ran on the field and it was like moseying, sort of taking his time. Security wasn't really like making it a point to get after him. And then Oregon was in their team huddle and one of the guys, straight beelines at him and decks him, like levels him, lowers his shoulder right into him. It's a great video if you want to watch it. My question to you is, and then the second video was, it was the USA women's team. One of the girls was front row and she straight just hurtled over like the barricade, which was pretty high up. and went after like Carly Lloyd, and got to her and got her jersey signed and was able to give her a hug without security. Like security just gracefully walked her back. So my question to you is 3 questions. 1, would you ever run on the field? 2, if you were a player, would you tackle someone? And 3, do security guards even give a shit anymore about people running onto the field? Because it doesn't seem like they care at all.
Dude, those security guards just mosey on over. But it's like, what are you going to do?
They're embarrassing to like people in these coats that say security on them, because there is no type of securitying test that you need to become a security guard at a sporting event.
No, none whatsoever. I think security needs a higher extra, like more security that they call like the hustle team, the guys that are going to run after them, like guys that are going to get down and dirty. I don't know if I'd ever run on the field, and it's not because like I don't care about getting arrested or whatever, but it's like it's like I know I'm bothering grown men playing on the field. It's like I'm a grown man and I'm just gonna go interrupt this grown game. Like I just don't understand. Like they would just be like, all right, dude, like, don't you got a life? Like
yeah, I think there's 2 types of running on the fielders. Or there's 3 types. There's one who runs on the field and is just dumb, like is just twisted and is just running around, and they are the ones who get like straight clobbered by the players. Those are just the reckless runner on the fielders. Then there's number 2, which is like the guy who runs on the field who's out there like with a motive. So like he's trying to juke the security guards and doesn't care about the players, but so he just more so wants to make it a spectacle. So like he's got the crowd going and like he's like running backwards and like doing all the fun stuff. And then eventually he'll give himself up once he's like circled by like 4 security guards. That one I'm a fan of. I'm okay with that one. And then there's one more that's sort of becoming more popular, is like the runner on the fielder who's a fan of like a certain player. So like they make a direct beeline to like a Derek Jeter, or Bellinger has gotten those people out in right field, I think he is.
Yeah. Yep.
So those people are like going on the field with a purpose. A lot of European soccer players get this. So like a little kid will beeline straight towards Ronaldo and like, just want to give him a hug or something like that. So I think there's 3 different types. The one that we've seen a lot just get bulldozed by the athlete or the security guards are the one who are just drunk and reckless. But you don't really see any fans running on the field to cause harm anymore, which is a good thing. But yeah.
Like if I'm a player though, I'm not gonna obviously, like if it's a kid, if it's a female, it is what it is. If it's a grown man that's like making juke moves, like I'll watch him. It's kind of funny. But if a grown man comes near me, you gotta probably like act like he's gonna like take you out, because you can't get embarrassed on national TV. Like You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But have you ever seen? There's one that's incredible. I don't know what stadium it's at, but it's a baseball game. This is from a few years back, and this dude is juking the shit out of security guards, right? And he starts like near the infield, and he makes his way all the way to center field, and he's just running past these dudes. He's just athletic as hell, and hops center field fence.
What? I think I did see that.
And then just runs up. I think it was like Kansas City or something, because center field, they just have the backdrop seats. They don't have anyone sitting there. And then just runs through them, and then I don't think they ever got him. And He just disappeared, which is hilarious.
That could be an all-time greater runner on the field. Yeah, that's impressive. But like, it doesn't surprise me because, like I said, some stadiums, like Yankee Stadium, obviously they've got guys that are young, like they put the better guys. But for the majority of these stadiums, the security guards who are lower to the field are usually the most tenured security guards. So it's usually like the oldest person, or like an elder female, or just like an old guy who's been there for 40 years. Like if you go to Wrigley Field, the ushers and the security guards who are down at the field, they've been there for 40 years and they know like the ins and outs of like everything about the stadium. They could tell you, who sat in this seat and all this crazy shit. But if someone were to run on the field, those guys can't move their legs for a lick. So, like, the security, there's that type of security guard, and then there's also the security guard who just, like, they hire a ton of security guards because they need somebody in a red coat to be down at the field. But these people are, no offense to fat people, but they're fat, or they're, like, really short, and their legs are shorter, so they can't run as fast. But, like, these people have no security experience. So, like, they're not trying to get out there and tackle some drunk dude, or they're trying to, like, chase around somebody on the field, because the last thing they're doing in their personal life is cardio. They're just trying to chill and watch the game just like we are.
Yo, it's crazy, though, that they don't, like, put some young blood out on the field, though, for that reason. Like, just, like, put a couple young guys that want to hit someone,
Well,
like,
they probably are paying no money. So, like, my solution to that is, like, if you're in San Francisco, if you're in LA, hire a bunch of homeless people or something like that. Those wackos will start going crazy, and they'll just tackle anybody. You just tell them, if somebody runs on the field, go and tackle them.
Yeah, they'll end up, like, hitting a reliever or something they don't think belongs in the game.
Probably. But
that football player, like, what? I mean, dude, that was a little much, no?
Yeah, his was a little excessive. And they show a different angle from the back, and there's a security guard, like, who was starting to, like, make his, like, he was starting to run after the guy, and you see him just clothesline him, and you see the guy, like, put his hand up, like, yes. He was so excited but that guy on Oregon went out of his way to, like, full speed tackle him, which I was surprised because, like, could that kid now turn around and sue University of Oregon for, like, clearly the University of football player going out of his way to tackle him? Like, I don't know what argument could be made to, like, safety of the kid running on the field. There's weird shit that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt that they could do that. And I mean, seeing as you get thrown in jail for that, so I doubt that'll happen. But I mean, the player just went out of his way so much, and then just as soon as he tackled him, like, I think he was more mad at security because he, like, threw up his hands. Was like, "You're gonna get him or not?" And, like, maybe he just didn't make a play yet in that game and wanted to hit someone. But he destroyed that kid. That kid was clearly just being a jackass. He wasn't gonna bother anyone.
It's not a bad opportunity to sort of showcase yourself because the coach.
Oh, it's a free hit.
Yeah, and your teammates are gonna look at that on Bleacher Report. They're gonna look at it on, like, every news outlet. Your coach might even show it, to hype the team up. It's like, hey, look, Johnson can hit this hard. Granted, it was against a fan, but, like, yeah, you get yourself known by doing that. So it's not a bad look, actually.
Forget practice.
Yeah, I'm for, if I'm, like, a diesel football player and I'm a linebacker, I'm going full speed ahead on and just lighting somebody up. But, like,
helmet to helmet.
But you got to think about it. This kid's a D1 college athlete at Oregon, hitting some, like, stoner bro who's running on the field in no pads. That
scrawny ass kid.
Gotta hurt. Hell yeah. That shit's gotta hurt, man. Or even running on, like, the baseball field and, like, getting closed by, like, Giancarlo Stanton, like, just laying one on you while you run past him. It's like, no, man, I'm good.
No. Yeah, you're gonna feel that.
Like, imagine there was people who ran like into, like, a boxing ring, like that was a thing.
Yeah, you just, like, open the cage to the UFC
yeah.
And octagon, and it's just like, hey, man.
Like, if you got the balls and you go to a UFC fight and you're just like, steel cage match, and you sort of just work your way into the thing, and whatever, it's on you. If you could hold your own, and that's the way you want to showcase, like, getting into the UFC, and you could fuck these guys up, I'm all for it. But if they beat the shit out of you, you're never allowed back in the thing. So, like, yeah, you open yourself up to, like, getting beat up. So if you run into, you run on the court at the Heat game, and there's that guy on the Heat, I don't know his name, but he's like a black belt, and he just straight goes through his whole routine on you, that's on you. You don't go to jail. Like, that's the new standard. You won't go to jail, but if you run on a baseball field, every player is allowed to just pile on you and beat you to a pulse. because you're on their territory. You're on their field. It's like
I actually
someone intruding
think
into
that
your
might
house.
work. Public embarrassment. Yeah, you just publicly embarrass and shame someone.
Yeah, and if you run onto Yankees Twins and nobody on the field is willing to like, hit you or anything like that, then you pick the right game. But you run onto like a Kansas City Royals White Sox game and you've got some minor league Dominican center fielder who's just like ready to go to war and he straight punches you in the face if you run by him, that's on you.
And the players could get like the thing a couple of years ago. You could get like rewards, like monetary rewards if a player like who's like a minor league guy up and down nonstop or whatever doesn't make a ton of money, but you get 50 G's for laying smackdown on someone. I mean, that's awesome. We don't know who that guy is.
Nope.
So you're always taking a chance running on the field. Maybe he's not there, but maybe he is.
If you play fantasy baseball, that could be like an extra thing. That could be like a little carrot. Like if your guy leveled a fan, because I think people would be surprised of how many fans run on the field. And if you got an extra 20 fantasy points because your left fielder was the one who, diffused the whole fan on the field situation, you'd be a lot happier to sign Brett Gardner on your team if you knew he was willing to like level somebody.
DraftKings, that's an idea. That's an idea right there. That's a free one right there. You're welcome.
Take that. Next, I wanted to ask you, NBA preseason started, so since we're going a little late tonight on Monday, Knicks are playing. They actually look okay. I've gotten some texts from friends, saying some positive things. I'm like, it's the first preseason game against the Wizards. Let's rein it in a little bit. Let's rein it in. I'm not too concerned about what the hell is happening. AD and LeBron did look good. He did look good. Zion has thrown down a lot of dunks, but it's the first preseason game. A lot can change. But what did you take about what you saw from LeBron and AD?
Nothing. It means nothing. None of it means anything at all. It's like those dudes. It's like literally you could go down to the park and watch people play harder than that.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them. What are they gonna watch? LeBron play 8 minutes or whatever it was. They barely play. I think I don't even care about watching Zion or someone play in the preseason. I don't care, but I do care a little more if it's summer league. I like summer league.
Yeah, summer league's good because those guys are competing for spots. Yeah,
they got something to play for a little bit, and it is cool to see like a guy like Zion, even though he's going to be on the team, he's out there with, he wants to make it known that he's that guy. And there's always a few stars on each side in that summer league that, make it more interesting. Preseason, I can't do preseason.
Yeah, I'm a little cautious of where the NBA is going because I think Zion's going to be a great player. I think they're going to get a little bit too caught up in just every single dunk he has. Maybe he'll go for 12 points and 14 rebounds, which is a really, really respectable line to have. But if, 6 of those 12 points are really, really ferocious dunks, that's all you're going to see on SportsCenter. That's all you're going to see on the highlight reels. And, Pelicans might end up losing. But you're going to think that Zion is the next greatest player and he's going to be in all these discussions for Rookie of the Year, obviously. And he's not a bust, but we're getting too caught up in these flashy moves. So Harden's running one-footed jump shot, and we're not really. I'm still watching the basketball game, but I have to watch what's shown to me, and every 2 seconds I'm seeing these one-legged shots or these dunks. So it's I'm sort of a little nervous of where the league's going. That being said, the Knicks are still going to suck. The good teams are still going to be good. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not caught up in preseason.
No, not at all. I mean, the highlights are still better than them showing what Russell Westbrook wears every fucking game. Yeah, so I'll take that.
Yeah, I will take Russell Westbrook, and even him dancing on the sidelines before the game is a little routine. It's just show me what he does on the basketball court. I didn't sign up to watch it, dance class. Like, this isn't Dancing with the Stars.
It's the same with OBJ.
Yeah.
Did you see OBJ tonight?
With his headphones?
No, well, he was dancing with his helmet on, being like looking like an idiot, and he just got hit in the side of the head with the football.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, man, like they're warming up, and he like looked like he was gonna get like tight a little bit.
Yeah,
but then he was like, "I was fucking dancing when I should have been playing football." So he was just like, "All right, whatever."
Oh, that's great.
He was like doing his. The whole like throwing up a imaginary ball and doing his whole shit, and then just boom right in the side of the helmet.
That's great. That's some of the best footage. You see that LeBron has had that before. I think J.R. Smith had one, or Kevin Love. But those are the best when they're just like standing there and the ball just clonks them in the head. Because you're right. It's like if you're doing all that extra shit, expect the ball to the head, because you should, like at a baseball game. It's like be alert at all times because you might get hit with a foul ball. When you're dancing, you're not alert. You're caught up in whatever you're dancing.
And everyone's gotten a basketball to the side of the head pretty much, right? And it's either you were the one being the idiot or the person throwing it was fucking around and they were being stupid. So it's like there's no like miscommunication or anything. It's like someone was being an idiot and playing around there too much.
Yeah. He must have had a rough pregame because I saw him doing his one-handed catches in the end zone. And he jumped for one and his headphones come off and he like misses the ball. And then he tries to like make a one-handed grab on his headphones and keep his feet in bounds too. And it was just like, we get it. You can make them unbelievable one-handed catches, but it's like, it's all for show now, man. And that's like what we've gone back to say in earlier episodes. It's like why the Giants got rid of him, because it's not all about football. It's about himself a lot of the times, and it's like all the dancing shit. If you win, you score a touchdown, dance a little bit, but like focus on getting ready. Like you shouldn't be getting hit in the head with a football because you're not paying attention. That
was awesome. That was straight out of like Pop Warner, just like him being a 10-year-old.
Yeah. Staying on basketball quickly, and then we'll save that for next week just because I want to watch a little of this Yankee game. But Daryl Morey, the Rockets general manager, is usually known to send off some, not controversial tweets, but just like he'll rub people the wrong way. And he's gotten into feuds with Charles Barkley because he's all analytics. He tweeted out something in support, and the Rockets have been known. Well, he tweeted out something in support of like the Chinese people. I don't know. You might know it a little bit better than I do.
Yeah, so there's been some protests, and I guess like he tweeted out in support of Hong Kong protesting against China, maybe, and like which is like there's been Chinese people that have been like physically hurt from these violent protests, and he like backed Hong Kong, which I don't want to get into the politics of all of it, but kind of a weird move for the Rockets have like a large Chinese fan base because of Yao alone, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, like that I think their Chinese relationship, the Rockets and China, like NBA China, is just got to be one of the biggest ones out of all the NBA because of Yao Ming. Every NBA China week, they have the jerseys with their the Chinese writing on it. They play games in China, and you're right. That Yao Ming connection was like one of the biggest things. They were all Yao Ming fans. They were all Tracy McGrady fans. It's a huge market for the NBA, and it's sort of sad that this guy can't express his own personal feelings. He does sort of represent the Rockets being their general manager, but you got to tiptoe these lines once you're in these corporate positions, and it's sad because it's like that's where money and all this politics shit comes into play. It's like that's what Kaepernick did, and he got blacklisted from the league. So now Daryl Morey does it, and I respect him for speaking his honest opinion. I sort of don't like the fact that he deleted his tweet and sort of backed away from his comments, because it's like you told us how you really felt. Now because money comes into play and like the relationship with NBA and China, you're backing up what you said. Like if you really meant that, then stand behind that shit and take a stand for what you're saying and fight for that cause. Or don't tweet it at all. If you're not knowledgeable about it and you didn't know what the hell you were tweeting and you weren't educated on it, then don't tweet that, you know? So it's like, I just said I have sympathy. No, I don't have sympathy for the guy because it's like he sent out a tweet that was misinformed is what it seems like, you know, and now he's paying the price for it.
If there's one thing that all of these athletes should be given in terms of advice, it's like, just don't send that tweet. When in doubt, don't tweet it out.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's just not worth it. And like, even if it's, you know, the right stance or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Like, if you think you know, he's not a dumb guy. If you think for some reason it's gonna affect some kind of people, some kind of demographic in any kind of way, it's really not worth it to tweet it out. You're like a 60-year-old man. You don't need to be doing hashtags and shit in support of people. Like, that's not gonna do anything. You're good, man. Like, you don't, just keep it moving.
Yeah, he probably was like sitting in like a Dairy Queen or some shit and like saw an article and was like, oh, I'll tweet it. I like that hashtag. And then like little did he know it just like started a world war between China and the NBA.
He just like the emoji that comes with that hashtag sometimes. He's like, yo, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that is tempting. If that's the reason, all right, I kind of, it's tempting sometimes. If you see like a fire emoji that pops up near the hashtag, it's like, yo, I kind of want to tweet that even though I don't know what that means.
That's a good ass point. So yes, we give you the benefit of the doubt if there was some cool Chinese Hong Kong flag with the emoji and you just wanted to, you know, put support. Like, what the hell was that one? The Darfur. Back if there was Twitter when Darfur was going on and there was some cool little like neon logo with like an elephant or some shit like that, you're damn right I'm tweeting support for it because like I want that shit.
Just put in parentheses after. It's like, yo, I just wanted this little alien.
I think I've said that before. I've tweeted like during a World Cup or whatever the hell was going on. Like NBA All-Star, they had all these cool emojis where if you like voted for, I don't know, James Harden, you'd get like a beard emoji. I think I rattled through like the whole roster because they had like an emoji for every single guy.
That's just like the most simple form of entertainment ever. You're just
seriously
like, oh man, I can't get enough of this.
That's all you need to do is like, if you want me to support Edward Snowden or like all this, like anything that you want me to be in support of, like I'm a big Bernie Sanders guy, but if Beto comes out right now with a cool emoji and like all I have to do is do like support for Beto and I can get like that cool little thing, you're damn right. I'm gonna just want to see what that cute little emoji looks like.
Yo, it's true. Game of Thrones almost had me. I'd never even seen one episode, but you tweeted out Game of Thrones. It came with like a sword stuck in an iceberg. I'm like, damn, I kind of want that as a tattoo.
Yeah, that's a good ass point. So we have sympathy for you, Daryl Morey, if there was a cool emoji next to your tweet, but we don't know now because it's since been deleted. But it's sad. It's sad. Real talk. It's sad that like money, you know, plays such a huge role that the guy just can't put out his honest opinion, you know, without it affecting the relationship between the NBA and China, you know?
I thought it was strange. Harden came out and like apologized to China.
Yeah.
And was like, it did seem really sincere because he was like, we have such a huge fan base for China. Like, I don't know what any of us would be without them. And I'm like, damn, like he must get a lot of love from over there. He said he goes over there once a year. People must go crazy for him.
You know what it was? Like, that was Adidas probably saying, yo, like this guy's never said anything. Now all of a sudden he cares about the Chinese like NBA shit, you know, like you're telling me you don't have some Adidas executive or, you know, Adam Silver's not writing a note to James Harden saying, dude, you got to mend it. Because like, what does it mean for the Brooklyn Nets owner to come out and write a whole, you know, Chinese Hong Kong history lesson? Or like, I don't want to hear anymore from Daryl Morey or even like Hakeem Olajuwon. No one in China knows who the hell you are anymore. So like, you need James Harden to come out and say something. So I can 100% guarantee that someone from the NBA or someone from Adidas or some high level executive or something said, James, you got to try and mend this from us. And like, and that's when he came out and put a statement out. Because I was surprised to see that too.
Yeah, maybe he was just trying to secure the bag, really. They were just like, no, this is going to work wonders for you later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to only help him because he looks like the good guy now. Like, hey, sorry, my my drunk stepfather, wrote this dumb tweet. I apologize for him. And it's like, oh, but
I fell for it. I was like, wow, what a good guy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, our beef isn't with you. But okay, now that everyone's got their eyeballs on this story, you could throw your name into it and sell a couple more sneakers.
Damn it, Harden. Got me.
Yeah, Harden got us. All right, I'm going to go watch a little of this Yankees game. Anything else you want to touch on? Do you have any questions from the people from last week? Because we might have had one.
Yeah, we might have had one. We actually had some comments on it, which was like cool. Like I like interacting on there with.
Oh, did we? What were they saying?
Some of the people. Pretty much standard stuff. There's always like one weird comment that's like, all right.
Yeah, you always gotta expect a weird one.
I think it's always like an inside thing with your other stuff.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, it seems that way. But
someone wants there was LSU. One shout out to that guy.
There's a few. Well, damn, we have a few. Yeah. So Vontae's perfect. We could go like into that real quick if you want to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's done for the year so far because he just destroyed that guy's head.
He used to be with the Bengals, right? And he was doing that shit with the Bengals.
Yeah, he was on the Bengals doing it with the Bengals.
Yeah, that stuff irks me. Whoever asked that question, I'm tired of that guy. I get it. Football is an aggressive sport. But when you're a repeat offender like that, same thing that happened with the whole Greg Hardy situation, the whole domestic violence, and then it's just a bad look when you're the Cowboys and you're signing that guy. If you're the Oakland Raiders, this guy's got a history of headhunting and just being a dirty player, and then you sign him. It's like you have no values. You've got no team morals. So I don't want to hear all this shit about we've got a good culture and, we like our guys and they're all good people, because no, they're not. You hear this on every sports show and every inside thing you watch is like all these players who play in the league are a family. And so when you've got somebody who's trying to physically hurt someone day in and day out on the field, that's not being a family. Because as much as you don't like your brother or your sister and you fight, it's all love when it comes down to it. With that guy, he's trying to put you in a body bag, and that's not cool with me.
No, I completely agree. I think like one announcer had a great view on it. Was like, man, someone could be like on his team, like be like pretty much brothers with that dude that he hit.
Yeah.
So it's not that brotherhood, that family that you're talking about. Like the whole NFL should be kind of together in on that. Like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
I love hard hits. Let me just say, I love hard hits, but the greatest sound bites I've heard was when Andrew Luck retired, and you heard it before he retired too, but he would get like hit hard to the ground, and he'd come right back up. And granted, he's out of the NFL now because he's taking some hard ass hits, but like he'd pop up and he'd be like, "Hey, nice hit, big boy," like nice hit, 9-5, like that's shit that's cool. You don't hear any of these guys getting hit by this guy Burfist or whatever the hell his name is saying like, "Oh man, you really caught me." Because like he's hitting guys when they're running over the middle, like not even involved in the play, just dirty shit that like there's no place for that in the NFL. Do you know who asked that question?
Yeah, that was Eldon Yeakel.
Eldon, thanks for that question, bro.
Yeah, that was good. And he was just talking about like more dangerous sports. Obviously, like football is the one.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to get rid of anything. If you could get rid of one thing in football, it's obviously stuff like that, but it's always going to continue to happen when guys are flying at each other like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm all for everything else. Like I was just talking to someone tonight about, punters and kickers trying to have all this swag and like they look cool out on the field, but like when the first time a punt gets blocked and, you get the whole defensive line and linebackers jailbreaking you and just straight leveling the punter is like, you don't look cool anymore. So I'm all for that. Like lay the punters out. He's on the field, because he's smaller than you, it doesn't matter. He should still get leveled just like everybody else. But when you're doing dirty shit, that's not cool.
Agreed. Let's see. There was one question about if we could change the length of professional sports season from Rodriguez Row 9999. If you could change the length of any pro sports season, like what would it be and like to what?
I wish I knew more about the MLS season because I feel like they play forever. I remember MLS season starting so long ago, and just now I think playoffs are starting. And again, soccer MLS in the U.S. is not a sexy sport. People don't know a lot about it. I don't know too much about their season, but I feel like it goes forever. Baseball surprisingly doesn't feel like it goes on too long for me. As many games as there are, it doesn't feel like that long of a season. Like I feel like baseball sort of just started, and now that it's playoffs, even when the season ends, I feel like it's starting back up with spring training, and it's like 34 days until pitchers and catchers and this and that. So people will say baseball has a long season. I don't really think so. I don't know. I feel like, to me, I don't know. I feel like all seasons are sort of fair. It's just weird how baseball's 162, football's 16, basketball's 82. Like, why isn't there anything unified across any of the sports? Is more my question. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think if like football's perfect for 16, if you have any more, like people might die. Like to our point that we were just saying a couple minutes ago. Yeah. I think anything soccer should be like tournament style. Yes. I do think that. Like you could give me $1 million right now. I have no idea how many games they play in the regular season. But if you just did tournament style, like they're playing, they just played yesterday, they're playing tomorrow, and then they're playing the next day, like just get them in and out.
Yeah.
And then I would do NCAA football has the 8-team playoff, which is cool.
Yes.
A little Sweet 16 would be nice.
Yes,
take one more regular season game out against a useless opponent and a little Sweet 16.
I think we'll actually see that. I think we'll see a bigger college football playoff similar to especially the way that like things are going now with players getting paid and all this thing with NCAA like getting sort of blown up. There's too much money made from March Madness. I think we'll see in a fairly short time college football get expanded to a bigger college playoff because there's more money, there's more advertisers, there's more bigger bowl games, this and that. One question I want to ask you is, if you chop the NFL season down or chop any season down, do you think you get a better product? Like, do you think if there's 8 NFL games or 10 NFL games, are the players playing harder? Like, I don't think it really makes a difference.
I don't think it makes a difference. I've thought about this a lot, and it's like, I don't like if you had it to 14 games, I don't think it makes a difference. No. Those first 2 or 3 weeks of the NFL season are always pretty ugly. This year wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad in terms of like offense and scoring and stuff like that. I think preseason is they play 4 preseason games. Like, I know they got to have those games for roster cuts or whatever, but those just seem so useless.
Yeah. Like, preseason, so those are a waste. Like, preseason football is stupid, and then we've spoken about that. But yeah, I mean, I think 16's a good number. But then again, it's just like you don't know what anything else is like until you see it. If there was 24 games or something like that, or 20 games, like I don't know what the number would be, but maybe it'd be more exciting. But I don't know. I'm just a creature of habit, and what I've known is good. And the only other reason anybody who thinks that a professional sports league is going to chop down their season is just dumb. There is 0% chance that a league is going to say, let's cut back on games because we care about the health and safety and performance of our players, and like the quality of our games is the biggest crock of shit that you could sell yourself. That's not happening.
Especially with NFL. There's too much revenue.
Yeah. You think Roger Goodell's going to be sitting in his office saying, hey, guys are getting hurt in week 15, 16. We got to cut this down to 14 weeks because I really care about the safety of our players. Good luck with that one. Same thing with Major League Baseball. They could hardly sell out the Rays game in the playoffs. You think they're going to chop back the Rays season 40 games because, the quality is not good enough? And then they maybe have a meeting that like, oh, well, if the quality's better, we'll sell out more games. Fuck that. Nobody's chopping down a season. So, sorry, Rodrigo, but the only thing you're going to see is more games.
Yeah, that's a hell of a point to end on. Yeah, that's just money talks, man. That's it.
Money talks. Anything else, or are we just good on those questions?
Yeah, I think we're good. We had all right, we could do this real quick. Evil Blunt Muncher 8. That's a hell of a username.
Muncher 8.
I wanted to say that out loud, so that's why I'm reading this question.
I hope that's your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, this is actually just me. But what do you guys think about NFL players playing hard to get with their contracts and end up not performing very well for their new teams, like OBJ not doing too great and Le'Veon not doing well with the Jets too?
You want to take it first? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it short. I think the NFL, if you suck, nothing's really a guaranteed, as opposed to MLB. You see these guys with 5-6 year contracts, and they ain't going anywhere because they're collecting their money. NFL, they still kind of got to perform. It's still so early to judge OBJ and Le'Veon.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to leave that. It's just too early.
Yeah. And here's my take on those guys. Like we had just mentioned earlier, you get what you put in. You get out what you put in. So, like, granted, I don't know what OBJ's. I'm sure he's working hard when he's, in the Browns facility and pregame and doing all this shit. And he's got a God-gift ability that's amazing. We see his workouts from some of the off-season when he's at UCLA and stuff. We also see a lot of videos of him dancing and doing, all this shit from the club and, at the Met Gala and all these things, which, you don't see from a lot of other guys. He's a high-profile guy. So I have a problem with guys that request trades, like this guy on the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you sign a contract with a team, that's the contract you've signed. You've made an obligation to that team that you're going to be there for X amount of time and this or that. NFL is a little bit different because it's not guaranteed, so on their end, they can drop you at any time. So I have a little bit more flexibility with, a player saying, I want to be traded, I want to get out, or, having a holdout and working out your contract that way. I'm not a fan of them saying, I want to be traded. That's what you're in. That's the situation you're in. That's what happened. You sign that contract. You sign a contract for a reason. So I'm not a big fan of players, demanding trades like that. NFL, I said it, I'm a little bit more lenient because the GMs and owners can cut you at any time. So if they can do it, you should be able to do it. Basketball, it's guaranteed. You sort of don't see a lot of guys demanding trades until sort of after the season or starting to work out what they want to do. Stories will start to come out. And baseball is guaranteed money, so it's like you really don't hear those stories too much. But it's usually just in football and, in the offseason in basketball. But I don't know. I'm a fan of players being in control of what they want to do because Draymond Green, I think, said it best. If you work in, for Microsoft or something like that and you get an opportunity with Apple, you can leave at any point. You can jump and take more money. So you should be able to do that in sports too if another opportunity presents itself. Not if you signed a contract, though. A contract's different. It's an obligation that you made. You should think about that beforehand. Put a clause in there that says, if I'm not happy after 2 years, I have the right to check something out, But if you don't have any of that stuff, I don't think you have the right to get out of your contract. You see this in Judge Judy all the time. Breach of contract, all this shit,
Shout out Judge Judy. She makes a lot of money.
Yeah, and if she says it, man, that shit is right.
I think it sucks that there's not as much guaranteed money in the NFL. I just think Antonio Brown doing what he did and these other guys doing what they do doesn't help when they have the NFLPA and the owners come together. The owners are like, well, why are we going to guarantee more money? These guys, we don't even know where their head is at or where they're. So I don't think they're helping future players.
No.
And maybe they don't care, and that's cool, but they're like kind of screwing over each other, really, I think.
Yeah, and you see a lot of the times too, a lot of these people who are demanding this shit and trying to be like, outliers in the field, like AB, like Le'Veon. Yeah, they get their money. Le'Veon got his money, $56 million or whatever, but like he lost a little bit of money and he had to sit out a year. AB got, I think, his guaranteed money from the Patriots, but now he's out of football. Jalen Ramsey is feuding with Jacksonville. He'll probably end up on a new team. He'll probably get a little bit of money, but they don't get the benefit of the doubt, when they're on the tail end of their career, or,
right.
Like a guy like Adrian Peterson got paid a shit ton of money when he was, he stayed in Minnesota. No disrespect to Minnesota, but nobody wants to be in Minnesota. Guy signed like a 5-year, $100 million deal, didn't really cause any rifts or anything like that, went bankrupt, and then now he's still with Washington because, he just takes the deals that he's given, doesn't cause any, drama. Same with Frank Gore. He's playing in Buffalo right now. The dude's like 100 years old because he doesn't cause any drama. Jalen Ramsey, AB, OBJ, as good as he is, there's going to come a time, like Chad Johnson, like Terrell Owens, where he's at the end of his career, where he's going to need a contract, and he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt from a team. So, this shit doesn't help you when you demand these trades and you make all these, demands, because teams remember that stuff.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
So I'm not it's not that I'm not for it. I think players have the right to be their own bosses. I just don't think you help yourself when you are demanding all this stuff, or making yourself like you're the end all be all, because ultimately all those guys are replaceable, as we all are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hope that answers Rodrigo's question. Thank you guys for the questions. Like I said, keep asking questions, man, because I don't even know if we have time to get through all of them. It's just we're getting tons and tons and tons that we're sifting and sifting through all of these questions. No, but real talk, keep asking questions because we love answering them. We love seeing the engagement on the chats. We appreciate everything. Anything else you want to add, Quat?
I mean, we got a lot of comments on the video, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
So that was good to see. And it's cool to just interact back and forth and see what people are thinking. And then, I thought they were pretty good questions this week too. So we're all getting a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate you guys vibing with the show, and thank you for for watching. But like we said, yeah, keep asking questions, keep writing comments. We'll respond to all of them. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week for number 10. Thank you. Deuces.
Later.